Good morning, champions. Let me ask you a question. How you start your day. Does it matter? You better believe it does. The way you start your morning sets the tone for your entire life, not just your day. Successful people don't wake up reacting. They wake up intentionally. They don't roll out of bed grabbing their phones, scrolling through chaos. No, they rise with purpose, with focus, with gratitude. Let me break this down for you. Success leaves clues, and one of the biggest clues is what the most effective hyper-forming people do when the sun rises. Number one, they start with vision. They take time every morning to remind themselves of why they're doing what they're doing. They're not just trying to get through the day. They're building a legacy. So before they check messages or social media, they check in with their mission. If you want to live at a higher level, you've got to be driven by something bigger than your to-do list. Sure, here are 6 keynotes. Start the day with vision and purpose. Prioritize spiritual and mental conditioning. Speak powerful, intentional declarations. Activate your body to create momentum. Surround yourself with growth-minded people. Success begins with a morning decision. When successful people wake up in the morning, they don't just fall into the day. They step into it with clarity and purpose. They understand that the mind doesn't naturally drift toward greatness. It must be directed. So, before they get caught up in the demands of emails, phone calls, and appointments, they take the time to reconnect with their vision. This vision isn't just a list of goals or a dream board they made once and forgot about. It's a burning picture of their future that they choose to see clearly every single morning. That vision becomes their anchor, their compass, their internal GPS. They start the day not asking, "What do I have to do today?" but "Who am I becoming, and how does today move me toward that person?" This practice of starting with vision is what separates reactive people from proactive people. Reactive people roll out of bed, already overwhelmed, already stressed, already running late, because they let life decide for them. Proactive people wake up and remind life exactly who's in charge. They don't wait to feel motivated. They bring their motivation to the day by looking ahead. They visualize the life they're building, the impact they're called to make, and the legacy they're creating. That vision fuels them when distractions try to pull them off course. Successful people understand that without vision, they'll perish, not physically, but in purpose. A day without vision is a day wasted. So they review their goals. They speak their mission aloud. They remind themselves of what they're after and why they're after it. Whether it's a business milestone, a financial goal, a physical transformation, or a relational breakthrough, they choose to start the day by putting that vision front and center. It's not about hype, it's about alignment. Because if the first thing you align with is social media or someone else's emergency, you'll spend your day off track, out of focus, and chasing things that don't serve your destiny. When you start your day with vision, you create a filter. You train your brain to recognize opportunities that align with your mission and reject distractions that don't. You begin to carry yourself with a different energy because you're no longer trying to survive the day. You are using it as a stepping stone toward a future you already see. That's what vision does. It changes how you see everything else. It reframes your problems as part of the process. It gives meaning to your grind. It replaces the question, "Is this worth it?" with the declaration, "This is necessary." This is why successful people don't just have a vision. They live it daily. They don't rely on occasional moments of inspiration. They create them. They script their morning so that vision takes root before chaos has a chance. It might be as simple as reading their goals, journaling their dreams, or closing their eyes and imagining the version of themselves who already has the results they're working for. They don't leave their mindset to chance. They know the world will try to steal their focus, so they choose to focus before the world even wakes up. It's also why successful people protect their mornings from noise. They're not available to the world until they've connected with their vision. They understand that input shapes output. If the first input is someone else's opinion or a flood of negativity, their output will suffer. But if the first input is that powerful picture of who they are becoming, then their output will reflect excellence, clarity, and confidence. That kind of intentionality doesn't just happen, it's cultivated. The vision isn't just for motivation. It's strategic. It tells them what to say yes to and what to say no to. It keeps them from drifting. It's easy to get busy with things that don't matter when you don't have a clear vision. But when you see your vision every morning, your energy becomes sacred. Your time becomes intentional. You don't get stuck in comparison because you're too focused on becoming the person you were designed to be. Starting the day with vision is not about fantasy. It's about foundation. It's about choosing to lead yourself before you lead anyone else. It's about putting purpose before pressure, mission before motion. The most successful people know that before they can win the day, they must first win the morning. And that victory begins with vision. Successful people don't begin their mornings by reacting to the noise of the world. They begin by conditioning their minds and spirits. This is not about routines that look good on social media. This is about building internal strength before stepping into external challenges. Mental and spiritual conditioning is a deliberate, non-negotiable part of how high achievers structure their mornings. They understand that battles aren't won on the battlefield. They're won in preparation. So each morning, before the demands of business, family, or leadership begin, they go inward. They seek clarity, peace, wisdom, and strength from a higher source. They know that without this foundation, all the strategy in the world won't matter. This practice isn't passive, it's powerful. Whether through prayer, meditation, journaling, reading sacred texts, or quiet reflection, successful people condition their inner world so they can handle whatever the outer world throws at them. They don't wait until they're in crisis to seek alignment. They begin every morning aligning themselves with the truth, values, and principles that guide them. They tap into wisdom because they know that human logic is limited, and they are not looking to operate on their own strength alone. This is where their peace comes from. This is where their confidence comes from. It's not arrogance. It's rooted assurance. They don't face the day hoping they have what it takes. They know they're drawing from a source that never runs dry. Mentally, they don't leave their thoughts unchecked. They take every thought captive. They understand that mindset determines outcomes. You can have the best plan in the world, but if your mind is filled with fear, doubt, or distraction, you won't execute it. So they start the day renewing their mind, feeding it with truth, affirming their identity, and preparing for the resistance that will inevitably come. They rehearse the truth before the lies show up. They program their thoughts before the world tries to reprogram them. This morning conditioning isn't about length. It's about intention. Some spend 10 minutes, others an hour. The point is that it happens *first*. They don't allow external demands to shape their internal state. They flip that equation. Their spiritual and mental clarity shape how they respond to the world. That's why they're calm in chaos. That's why they stay centered when other people are shaken. They're not reacting, they're rooted. They also understand that pressure is predictable. The higher the level, the greater the demand. So they don't pray for easy days. They pray for strength and wisdom. They don't ask for less weight. They build stronger shoulders. And that strength is built each morning in the unseen hours when nobody's watching and nobody's applauding. That's where real discipline is forged. It's quiet, private, personal, and yet it's the most powerful part of their day. Mental conditioning is also strategic. Successful people rehearse their vision, remind themselves of who they are, and speak intentionally about the kind of energy they will bring into the day. They don't just hope they'll be focused, they declare it. They don't just hope they'll be resilient, they prepare for it. They don't wait for motivation, they build it. And that's what separates them from everyone else who lets circumstances dictate their mindset. This discipline creates consistency, and consistency compounds day after day. That conditioning builds an identity that doesn't shake when life does. It builds the kind of person who leads, who creates, who endures, and who inspires. People think it's talent or luck, but more often it's this quiet discipline that nobody sees. It's the decision to begin each morning by aligning their heart and mind with what truly matters. This practice doesn't remove the challenges of the day, but it transforms how they face them. Instead of being tossed by opinions, setbacks, or resistance, successful people stand grounded. They've already won the first battle within themselves, and because of that, they move into the world with clarity, peace, and unshakable focus. Successful people understand the power of words, especially the words they speak over their own lives. That's why one of the first things they do each morning is make intentional declarations. They don't speak based on what they feel. They speak based on what they believe. They're not waiting for their circumstances to shift before they speak life. They speak life so their circumstances can start shifting. Declarations are not empty affirmations or feel-good slogans. They are powerful truths spoken with authority. These words are designed to shape mindset, direct focus, and align identity with vision. Successful people know that words have creative power, and what you consistently speak, you eventually see. When they wake up, they don't speak defeat, doubt, or confusion. They speak clarity, power, and direction. They say things like, I am focused today, I walk in excellence, I solve problems, I attract the right people, I move with purpose. These declarations aren't just motivational, they're transformational. They remind the mind and body of who's in charge. They don't describe their situation, they declare their standard. They speak what they want to see, not just what they currently see. This is a principle of leadership and influence. Leaders speak vision, not just observation. And the first person they lead every day is themselves. These morning declarations act like seeds. Spoken in faith and consistency, they begin to take root in the subconscious, and over time, identity begins to shift. The person speaking those words starts to show up differently. They start to believe what they say, and belief drives behavior. This is why successful people are so intentional with their language. They refuse to say things like, I'm tired, or this day is going to be hard, or I'm just trying to survive. Even if those feelings are present, they refuse to give them power through words. They override temporary emotion with eternal truth. They speak as the person they are becoming, not the person they are trying to escape. Declarations also set emotional tone. They prepare the nervous system, the focus, and the energy of the day. Speaking truth out loud activates confidence. It silences fear. It shifts attention from problems to solutions. Successful people don't wait for perfect conditions to speak powerfully. They create powerful conditions by speaking. It becomes a habit, a rhythm, a ritual. Just like a professional athlete warms up their body before a game, high performers warm up their mind and spirit with declarations. It's how they enter the day already winning. This practice also protects identity. In a world that constantly tries to define people by their past, their failures, or their doubts, successful people reclaim authority over their identity every single morning. They don't let culture, critics, or circumstances define them. They define themselves by truth, by vision, and by purpose, and they use their words as the weapon. It doesn't matter if yesterday was hard. day is a new day. And it begins with new declarations. These declarations are not random. They are crafted with purpose. Often, successful people write them down, repeat them daily, and tailor them to the season they're in. If they're building a business, they speak growth, strategy, and leadership. If they're healing from a setback, they speak strength, restoration, and peace. If they're entering a new challenge, they speak courage, clarity, and victory. Their words align with their goals and values. There's no contradiction between what they say and what they're building. Speaking declarations isn't about pretending things are perfect. It's about refusing to surrender to what's imperfect. It's about calling things that are not as though they were. It's about choosing the language of faith over the language of fear. That choice, made consistently, becomes one of the greatest tools for transformation. And because they practice this daily, successful people develop a pattern of resilience, confidence, and focus that others often mistake for natural charisma or luck. They know better. They know it's the result of showing up every morning and choosing to speak life on purpose. Successful people understand that energy is not something you wait for. It's something you generate. That's why they start their mornings by moving their bodies. Whether it's a workout, a walk, stretching, or breath work, they know that physical movement jumpstarts mental clarity, emotional balance, and high performance. They don't wait until they feel like it. They move to create that feeling. Motion creates emotion, and successful people use this principle to shift themselves into a peak state before the day even begins. It's not just about fitness. It's about focus. It's about stepping into the day with momentum, not lethargy. Movement is the quickest way to change your state. It gets the blood flowing, activates the nervous system, and wakes up the brain. Successful people don't roll into the day sluggish, foggy, or passive. They activate. They fire up their system so their thinking is sharper, their energy is elevated, and their mood is positive. It's no coincidence that some of the most accomplished people in the world have a physical morning routine. They understand the mind-body connection. They don't separate mental performance from physical discipline. They know the way you treat your body in the morning shows up in how you handle challenges, conversations, and decisions throughout the day. This movement isn't always intense. Sometimes it's 5 minutes of stretching. Sometimes it's a jog, a bike ride, or just dancing to music. The asterisk form doesn't matter as much as the intent. The point is to engage the body and create activation. When the body is active, the mind follows, and this movement does more than just boost energy. It builds identity. When you move with intention first thing in the morning, you reinforce the belief that you are disciplined, strong, and in control. That belief becomes fuel throughout the day. Successful people don't rely on caffeine or chaos to wake up. They rely on movement. They know that passivity in the body creates passivity in the mind. But when they move early, they step into action mode. They begin the day leading their physiology rather than letting the day drag them around. This gives them an edge, because they've already built momentum before most people are even awake. They're not catching up. They're already ahead, mentally and physically. And the benefits go deeper than energy. Morning movement helps regulate emotions. It reduces stress. It improves focus and memory. It stabilizes mood and enhances creativity. That's why successful people don't treat movement like an optional lifestyle. Hackett's non-negotiable foundation for showing up as their best self. They don't say, I don't have time to move today. They say, I don't have time to. Because they understand that how they feel physically affects every decision, every conversation, and every opportunity they'll face that day. When they move in the morning, they also take time to breathe. Deep breathing, conscious breathing, rhythmic breathing, it grounds them, it connects them to the present, it calms the nervous system and builds control. Breathing and movement together form a powerful ritual that activates the whole self. It's not just body, it's alignment. This intentional movement also sets a tone of action. It tells the brain, today we move. Today we execute. And that pattern becomes habitual. Successful people use this morning discipline to train themselves for a life of action, not delay. They know that the same muscle used to do 5 push-ups in the morning is the same muscle that says yes to a hard decision later in the day. The same discipline that moves their body at 6 a.m. is the discipline that closes the deal, makes the call, or writes the book. It's all connected, so they don't negotiate with themselves when it's time to move. They don't let comfort make decisions. They lead their body, knowing that their body will follow their leadership. That physical momentum spills into everything else, creating a chain reaction of intentionality, clarity, and action. Successful people are intentional about who they allow into their mental, emotional, and spiritual space, especially in the morning. They understand that energy is contagious, and the people you surround yourself with can either elevate you or drain you. That's why they prioritize connecting with individuals who challenge their thinking, expand their vision, and stretch their standards. They don't start their day with small talk or gossip. They start it by engaging with growth-minded people through conversations, mentorship, coaching, or even through books, podcasts, and teachings from high-level thinkers. They know proximity to the right voices sharpens their focus and accelerates their growth. In the early hours of the day, successful people protect their mental environment like a fortress. They won't expose themselves to negativity or low-level thinking when their mind is most impressionable. Instead, they seek alignment. They listen to those who are walking the path they aspire to, or they review insights from mentors and leaders who reinforce their values and mission. Even if they don't interact with someone directly, they position themselves near greatness. They study the mindsets, habits, and decisions of others who are already operating at a higher level. This environment of elevation becomes a mirror. It reflects who they are becoming. If you surround yourself with people who expect excellence, you will rise to meet that standard. If you begin your day around mediocrity, it becomes easier to settle. Successful people choose accountability. They stay close to people who won't let them make excuses. They value honest feedback over flattery. They'd rather be challenged to grow than comforted into stagnation. Even in solitude, they're not alone. They are plugged into the ideas, strategies, and perspectives of other winners. They're listening, learning, and applying. This keeps them out of echo chambers and emotional ruts. It keeps their thoughts sharp. It keeps their ambition fueled. They know that every great achiever has a circle, not just of friends, but of voices. And they are intentional about the voices they hear in the morning. They also understand that inspiration fades without community. It's not enough to feel fired up. They want to be in environments that hold them to a higher level, long after the emotion wears off. So, they lean into communities, masterminds, and relationships that reflect their future, not just their past. And this morning connection reminds them they're not alone on the journey. Others are rising early, doing the work, thinking big, and refusing to shrink. That sense of shared pursuit strengthens resolve and adds fuel to their fire. This is why successful people guard access. Not everyone gets their morning energy. Not everyone gets their ear when their mindset is being shaped. They don't leave it to chance. They curate their morning influences like they would curate a playlist before going into battle. They don't want noise. They want clarity. They don't want distraction. They want direction. They know that influence isn't neutral. It's either helping or hindering, so they keep their mornings sacred. They align with people and content that speak life, not limitation, that cast vision, not doubt, that elevate excellence, not average. And by doing so, they condition themselves daily to think like winners, act like leaders, and show up like champions. Successful people know that the trajectory of their entire day is determined by a single decision they make each morning, the decision to win. Before any meetings, tasks, or obstacles show up, they choose their mindset, their energy, and their focus. This choice isn't based on convenience, it's based on commitment. They don't wait to see how the day feels before deciding how they'll show up. They decide first, then show up accordingly. That decision becomes the anchor that guides everything that follows. They decide that they will be disciplined, not distracted. They decide that they will move with purpose, not pressure. They decide that no matter what challenges arise, their response will be rooted in power, not panic. This decision is not loud or dramatic. It's often quiet, internal, private, but it is the most powerful part of their morning. It's the line they draw that says, I run this day. This day doesn't run me. This decision-making process isn't emotional, it's strategic. Successful people understand that consistency beats intensity. They don't wait for motivation or inspiration. They build momentum by deciding to take control from the moment they wake up. They eliminate the negotiation. They don't ask, should I get up now? Or do I feel like doing this today? They've already decided. That level of clarity removes resistance. It makes execution simple because the hard part, the decision was already made. They also understand that small decisions compound. The decision to start the day with intention leads to better choices in business, in health, in leadership, and in relationships. One right decision creates a chain reaction. That's why successful people aren't casual with their mornings. They know that indecision breeds delay, delay breeds distraction, and distraction kills results, so they act quickly. They choose decisively, and they train themselves to do this every single morning until it becomes who they are. This daily decision isn't about being perfect. It's about being deliberate. They don't control everything that happens, but they do control how they show up. And that mindset is a choice they make before the world even knows they're awake.